going on? And welcome to another episode of the DJ Rana Show. Today, I have the pleasure and privilege of having the one and only DJ Insomnia.
Mr. J. Rana, what's up, man?
What's going on, big guy?
I'm good, man. Chilling, dude. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Take two.
Take two. We are back. Round two.
The reason I'm saying take two is because we recorded last time, 2 weeks ago, and our conversation just flowed.
Yeah.
It was like an hour 20 minutes, half an hour.
It was long.
And my producer was like, yo, Jay, we ran out of space.
Yo. We upgraded this time, though, right?
We did.
We're good.
We got the memory cards, like 6 hours long. We could talk all day long.
Agor was like, yo, we got 6 hours. I'm like, all right, if me and Jay go for 6 hours, there's a problem. Somebody needs to come in and stop us.
Absolutely. But you know what? When you're having a conversation with a friend of yours, when you're having a conversation with the industry, the passion behind it, the words just flow, man. It's like
easy.
nonstop.
It was easy. And that's the best kind of podcast you could possibly listen to because
Absolutely.
It's effortless.
The thing is, I don't want my guests to be like, yo, these guys are back again talking about some dumbass stuff. I don't want that. I want my guys to be engaged.
Yeah.
All of you guys to be engaged. If you have any questions, any comments, things you want us to talk about, let me know. When we release it, the comment section, that's all you. That's where you live. That's going to be your dance floor. Sounds good? Sounds good.
Subscribe, comment below.
Subscribe, comment below. We were just recently talking about the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
Right? I was telling you that just a few weeks ago, I had a client, and the client were heterosexual, bride and groom, but their family and friends, they were part of the community, right?
Yeah.
The bridal party. And it was crazy because the groom even made a speech during the third day. The third day was a reception. It's a 3-day event.
Yeah.
Right, the third day was a reception, and he made it a point to point out that we have bridesmaids on the groom side and groomsmen on the bride side because it's 2023 and love is love.
Yes.
And that was awesome.
Yeah. I bet it was.
I'm telling you, like when you, like me personally, I was there and I get the chance to see all these new things, right? It was like a sudden rush of euphoria that comes over me. You know, it's like this is new, it's groundbreaking, and all that beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
You know, how many years have you been in the LGBT community as an entertainer?
The first time I did, the first one I ever did was a gay wedding back in 2011. No, sorry, 2013. It was at Chelsea
ago.
Piers. Yeah, so 10 years now.
So 10 years ago, I mean, it wasn't as common.
No, not at all. Actually, I don't even know if it was like
Legal?
technically legal at that point on paper, but either way we did it, and it was an incredible experience. It's something I look back on, and 10 years ago I was 28 years old, and having done something like that so early on. I wouldn't say early on, but at a much younger age.
But for the community itself, it's pretty early.
Yeah, it's really early, and this is like something brand new, right? Like I don't really even know any other DJ in our community that had done an LGBTQ wedding at that point. So there was nobody I could really kind of turn to and be like, hey, like what should I expect in terms of music?
Play, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, like is there anything I need to be like sensitive about? Like any of those things, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And those questions, like they may be like ignorant and like naive now.
No, but you don't know what you don't
but
know.
at that time, like I didn't know, right? So it was a very like not I wouldn't say nerve-wracking, but I was nervous a little bit, because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Yeah. But once we got the dance floor rocking, it was amazing,
That's
man.
all it takes, right?
It was so awesome. It was so different from all like the weddings we've done.
Yeah.
And not that the weddings we've done are bad, but like it's just different, man. And sometimes like you need a switch, you need a change, and the music taste and the music selection of like what they wanted was just awesome. And I had a blast. I got to play stuff that I don't normally play,
Nice.
So it's cool.
I mean, that's the best thing, right? Because you get to express yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not the common songs.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm not sure about you, but it's the same 75 songs that every DJ plays. Unfortunately, it's the same 75 songs that every DJ plays.
Yeah.
Top 40 Bollywood, top 40 American, and you switch it up.
Yeah.
Put some reggaeton in it, put some reggae in it.
Yeah.
And you got yourself a playlist.
Little differences here and there, but you typically end up playing the same thing. And anybody that says otherwise is lying out of teeth.
I tell my DJs all the same time, do me a favor, can you give me a storyline? Create a story.
Yeah.
Take these songs. I fuck with them all the time. I got 10 songs. These are 10 songs.
Yeah.
Create a 5-minute skit for me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Play around with it, right?
Yeah.
Go to side B, side A, different cues, different choruses, verses. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Wordplay.
Yeah.
Do something.
DJing
Be
a party
creative.
is like it's like a book. Like there's a beginning, there's a middle, and an end, right? The beginning part, especially you know how it was when we did like nightclubs back in the day. Like the opening DJ was kind of like introducing the crowd to the room, setting the tone, setting the vibe, and like that's what you do in a storybook. You're kind of introducing like just the base of what the story's going to be about, what we're about to get into. And then once you get into like the meat or the potatoes, like then like you're kind of rocking, you're full speed ahead. And then, you know, you got to kind of, you know, end properly and conclude the night, conclude the story in a certain way. And like that in itself is a talent, right? Like being able to scratch, mix, like that's all one thing. But party rocking is literally like creating a story on the dance floor. And it sounds kind of hippy dippy or whatever, but like if you know how to do it right, 100%. It's a beautiful thing, and the crowd connects with you. When DJs talk about a crowd connecting with you, that's exactly what they're talking about. If you created a story and their eyes are glued to that story, they're glued on you, and they just want to rock with you the whole night.
100%. It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
100%.
You take them on a journey. Where is this guy taking me? Right? And I've heard that a few times as far as the type of music you play.
Yeah.
The energy behind it and all that beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
You mentioned scratching a little bit ago, right? Bro, your scratch skills, what's that song? Was it The Percolator?
Yeah.
What's that? It's yours. Like you own it.
No. So I got to give my flowers due properly to DJ Nitro from back in the day, because he's the guy that I first.
DJ Nitro. What's his name?
Sorry, not Darshan is my partner. Okay. Neil.
Okay.
Neil. So DJ Nitro, shout out to him. He was the first guy I saw.
Was you off of Absolute? Was it Absolute?
No, Universal.
Universal.
Okay. Universal Productions. Yeah. So
all these names are coming back to me.
I know, it's crazy, right?
98, 99 era.
Yeah. So like Neil was the first guy that and every time I see Neil at a wedding, I call him up. I'm like, yo, Nitro, I need you like just rock out with me real quick, and I'll throw on The Percolator. I'll do a Frank Ski Hose in this house.
Yeah.
And we'll just cut it up and stuff, right? But like he's the first guy that I ever saw do that, and I like for years I tried to emulate that and practice it and just figure it out, and then eventually I got it down. I just recorded a video put it up on YouTube. I think it has like 20,000 plus plays at this point.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thanks, man. I just threw it up. I'm like, yo, let me just put it out there, and then it just kind of caught fire. And
that's all a skill set, bro. Like I never really taught myself how to scratch. I didn't go down that road at all. I figured, let me just learn how to mix.
Yeah.
Mix properly, be creative with it,
Yeah.
wordplay, like the juggling beats, stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
Never really got into scratching. I feel like now, like scratching is huge.
Yeah.
Like scratching is huge from one song to another song. Like, how do you feel about that though? Like the whole concept of mixing is one thing, right?
Yeah.
Then you add your sync button into it. That's another thing, right? You're beat matching. Now you're scratching, right? So now the ability to mix, does it go out the door for you, or is it just like dropping one song to another? Because I feel like when you're scratching, that's also like you're creating your own beats.
Yeah. I think scratching. So when I first learned how to scratch, I was like, yo, this is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to show off. I'm going to be that guy.
That's what's up.
And I quickly learned that I should not be that guy. And there's a party I used to do in New York City called Indus Tuesdays. It was ran by Manny from DJ Karma.
I remember Indus Tuesdays.
Yeah. So Manny from DJ Karma used to run it, along with Karma himself, Tinku. And I remember I was doing a party and, whatever, I'm doing my thing. And Karma himself comes up to me. He's like, yo, I get it. You can scratch. And I'm like, and I was so confused for a second. I'm like, what do you mean? Okay, yeah. Like, what does that mean? And he's like, dude, I get it. We all get it. You know how to scratch.
Okay.
Now stop. Because like I was doing too much.
Okay.
And the point I'm trying to get at is like scratching should be used as a tool to transition into the next song, especially when you're party rocking, right? Yeah. If you're in front of a bunch of DJs and you just want to show off, yeah, do whatever you want to do, right? Like that's a different story. If you're in like that environment, that setting where it asks you to show off and do your thing, great. But if you're doing a wedding or even a nightclub, whatever, like that scratching should be used as a transition tool versus you trying to flex your muscle and beat your chest, like, yeah, I know how to do this. Because like the girls just want to hear the song. They don't want to hear you going back and forth like flex, bringing the song back and then scratching and doing all these crazy things.
Talking over the music like flex.
Yeah, like it just when you're and I have a saying that I always tell my guys in my company: if you're doing too much, stop. And that could be regarding anything, right? If you're using too much tape to tape down a wire, stop. You're doing too much. If you are trying to lift something that's too heavy and you're working too hard to lift that up, stop. Ask for help. So regardless of anything that you do with DJing and in the live entertainment industry, I feel like if you do too much, it's a very bad thing, and most definitely for scratching. So any DJs that are out there, like what I've seen a lot is DJs just start cutting it up, like doing all these random things. I'm like, dude, relax, bro. Like
I had to tell a couple of my guys too at the weddings, bro, bring it down a notch.
Yeah, it's too much sometimes, and like nobody wants to hear that. Like because I've attended weddings myself, and I'm like, oh god, this guy. Like, and sometimes like they know I'm there, and
they want to impress you.
They want to impress and show off a little bit, so they'll start cutting it up or whatever. And sometimes it's just like bro, like.
How do you feel about that when you go into a room as a guest, and obviously you're like people know who you are clearly, right? You go into a room, you're a guest.
Yeah.
There goes the DJ, and they're shitting bricks at this point. I know for a fact they're gonna be shitting bricks at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Do you approach them? Do you say, "Hey, what's going on?"
Oh, I show love. I'm not that dude. Like, I mean, you know, like I know I have a certain place in this industry where like people look at me and be like, oh, like, you know, that's Insomnia, cool, respect, you know.
Yeah.
But I never let that get to my head because I know where I came from and where I started, and you have to, man, because I've seen dudes get super cocky and arrogant, and I'm like, dude, I want nothing to do with you, man. And I'm like, if someone were to look at me that way, I would hate that. Yeah. So I try to remain as humble as I possibly can without losing sight as to how hard I've worked and where I am now. But I never let that get the best of me, right? I never want that devil on my shoulder saying, yo, like, talk your bro. No, it's like, no, I have the angel saying, like, yo, like, calm down, relax. Like, you know, you work so hard to get here. Yeah. Being cocky and arrogant can take you right back there. So,
but there's a time to flex.
There is a time to flex, yeah, obviously. That's what I'm saying. Like, I never forget how hard I've worked and where I came from and where I am now.
You're the boss now, but there were times where you also grabbed your gear, you hauled gear, taping on your knees. You did all that stuff, right?
100%. And if I'm a guest at an event or if I show up to a nightclub and I know the DJ there, like, I'll always give a pound, say what's up, you know, always show love, you know, no matter what, you know. And first and foremost, like, I'm a DJ and I'm a purist at heart. And for us, like, especially as like a South Asian community, like, our DJ community is smaller than, you know, everybody else, like Latinos and African Americans, you know, whites, everybody. It's like we're a lot smaller than them, right? There is a lot of us for sure, but it's a lot smaller. And I think that's something that we all need to kind of like hold on to and respect and cherish, because if you start hating one another, our community falls apart.
Well,
there's
with
no
that
love.
Mindset, you started Turntable Talk.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's exactly what it was. And I started Turntable Talk because for many years there was a lot of hate in our community, and I got personally sick of it.
That's so unfucking unfortunate.
It sucks.
It's so unfortunate. We're all brown. Yeah. We come from the same cloth. You know what I'm saying? We have the same goals. Yeah. We have the same values. We have the same culture. We're the same. Yeah. In every single aspect of the word, right? We're all the same. We're all brown. We're here for the same exact reason. Yeah. So I hate to say it like this, but why can't we all get along?
So I think the reason a lot of this stuff happened was the downfall of the nightlife industry for the South Asian community. Okay. So like I think I did nightlife parties, like nightclub parties from like 2000 to like, I think my last party that I can remember was like 2009. Okay. Right. Then after, it was a long time ago, right? Yeah. Over a decade at this point, right? And you know, obviously there's some Indian parties here and there. You know, some kids came in through some parties here and there, whatever. But there was never like a formal scene like what we grew up on, right? Yeah. You know, like the Indian parties we see at like the VFW halls, Ramada Inn, stuff like that, right? Halls. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
the Ramada Inn on 18.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. Like everybody, like you would see like 5 different promotion groups on one flyer. Yeah, because you'd have like these separate crews. Yeah, like they're technically competitors, but to like make a great event, to put on a great event, they'd come together 100%. And throw a kick-ass party. Yeah. And that from there, like you'd have different DJs from different crews, because every crew had their own DJ, right? Yeah, yeah. You know, that DJ would be like the face of like their crew. So they'd come in, they'd rock out, and you'd be like DJing next to like somebody else that like maybe it's not in your crew, but like now you're becoming friends with, like you're fucking with them essentially, and like now you guys are all boys, you guys are all hanging out outside of the parties, and there's obviously a lot of beef mixed in with all that stuff, but for the most part, like DJs were exposed to one another. Yeah. So there was a sense of community with South Asian DJs. But then once all that party stuff ended and everybody just ended up at weddings, everybody was very cliquey and everybody was kind of in their own little bubble, whatever. Yeah. So I felt like there was a lot of like animosity built up because it's like they're not getting exposed to each other. Nobody's hanging out with each other, at least the DJs that I know of, right? Maybe the younger generation is hanging around with each other or whatever, and I just don't know about it. But
I think there was a whole generation gap, bro.
There was a big generation gap, and I know like there were a lot of guys who weren't hanging around each other, and maybe they didn't have an opportunity to meet other DJs like we used to back in the day. So I started Turntable Talk to get like DJs underneath one roof, and they all rock out. It wasn't a club party, but it was just like a DJ showcase. But it was also a networking event, so people could meet each other
100%.
and build up that camaraderie again and network with one another, potentially work with one another. And a lot of that eventually did happen. So mission accomplished, I would say, in my books.
Congratulations on that. That was a big deal.
It was great, man.
That was a big
we got
deal.
on
I was there for the first one. That was a big deal.
What's it called? AVS came in and did like a whole piece on it. They did a whole segment. Jugal Hansraj, do you remember him? He's from Mohabbat.
Yeah.
He's the actor.
Yeah.
I heard him say my name on the show. I was like, this is so cool. This is awesome. my mom was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's a little older now, but that's cool. You know, like,
let me do it again.
But yeah, I mean, like, it was awesome. Like, we had a big movement happening, and then unfortunately COVID hit and momentum kind of slowed everything down.
Do you see it coming back?
I don't think so.
No.
And I think it's one of those things where there's so much time that passed on that animosity grew and that competitiveness grew again.
Yeah, but you can't get lost in that, though.
I don't say I would get lost in it, but it's a fight that's a big fight. It's a very uphill, like a very steep uphill battle.
It's always going to be an uphill battle.
And it's one of those things that I'm like, you know what? I like it's one of those things where if somebody wants to change themselves, like, they got to do it from within. Like, nobody else is going to change them, right?
Yeah,
so it's the same thing with
right?
It's the same thing with the South Asian community, right? Like, if everybody's going to hate on each other and they don't want to fix that, there's nothing I can do that's going to really, because I did my part, right? Like, I threw the event, I hosted the event, I wanted people to come out, and it just was, there was a lot of resistance, pushback on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Maybe not right now is the time to do this event.
I disagree, bro. I disagree for so many reasons. Gandhi said himself, if you want to see the change in the world, it starts by yourself, right?
Yeah.
With yourself.
Yeah.
And yes, it is an uphill battle, but if you don't fight the fight, who is?
Yeah.
No one's going to want to fight the fight.
Yeah.
Because they think, no, it's too much animosity out there. It's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
It's going to be a losing battle, but so why even do it?
Yeah.
But then if you don't do it, then who is? Right? I feel like it's common in the brown community.
Yeah.
Brown community, I feel like we don't support each other.
Mm-hmm.
Brown people don't support other brown people.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I mean, I take a look at our neighbors, right? The Jewish community.
Mm-hmm.
They're so far ahead of the game.
Yeah.
In all aspects of business,
Mm-hmm.
Media, entertainment, financing.
Very tight knit.
You said it yourself. They're tight knit.
Yeah.
Because they support each other.
Yeah.
There's this saying that if out of 5 Jewish folks, if one person has money, all 5 of them have the same money.
Yeah.
Right? It's common. I feel like brown people, they just want to outdo each other
Mm-hmm.
and just want to be isolated and just be that person by themselves.
Yeah.
But it's lonely. You can't be there by yourself.
It's a very lonely business. I'm actually glad you brought that up. Like, what we do is a very lonely business
100%.
because even the people in your own crew, like, you might think like, oh, we're friends and stuff, but the minute you stop cutting that check or you stop receiving that check, like, that connection, that
happens.
quote unquote friendship will disappear. And I've seen that many times happen even within my own crew. There's guys that come in and out, people who I thought like were my friends, were my boys, but then the minute that paycheck got cut off and they left my crew to do whatever they wanted to do, that relationship just fizzled out. And it sucks because then it makes you like almost like develop like a thicker skin.
Yeah.
You develop this bubble almost, and it starts to feel a little lonely. It's like then you start like for me at least, I'm like, all right, like who's real, who's not. Even like with other vendors,
like
like
you're gonna distance yourself from
like I don't want to because I'm a very social person. I love everybody. I love talking to people. I love working with people. But it's like those little things. It's like it makes you realize how lonely our industry can be.
100%.
And it sucks because I don't wish that on anybody. I wish everybody was just best friends all the time.
And that's why we're doing what we're doing right now. Like you with the Turntable Talk, we're being with this podcast, trying to bring the community together.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you're doing this podcast. We talked about this the last time, and I'm so happy you're doing this because this is like for me like what Turntable Talk was also, where like you're bringing people together, people who may not necessarily like see one another. Like you don't always see, like me and you, we run into each other once in a while at events. You'll run into some of the other guests at events, but like it's not like we get to sit down one-on-one and just talk shit. Like we don't get to do this often, you know?
You don't even have 10 minutes to talk.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm sure I'm getting messages on my phone right now from clients. It's just one of those things. But like, I'm glad you're doing this because it's bringing community together to discuss topics that are meaningful to us.
100%, and that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
The space was there. People needed to know what we thought about our own industry, right?
Yeah.
Why I've been in it for such a long time, why you're in it for such a long time. What do you get out of it? What do I get out of it?
Yeah.
Is it the passion? Is it the finances? Is it the social circle?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason why we do this. Now, it's not all glitz and glamour.
No, it's not.
It's not glitz and glamour. And I got a feeling that most of the people out there, most clients, they think it's all glitz and glamour. Jay, you guys are on top of the world. You get paid good money. You dress a certain way. You eat a certain way. And then you're sleeping on the weekdays. No.
I wish I was sleeping on the weekdays.
Right? That doesn't happen. The glitz and glamour on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays only comes with the hard work Mondays all the way to Thursday.
Yeah.
You're grinding. You're completely fucking grinding every single week
But even when we're at the events, it's still a grind.
It's still a grind.
It's
work.
It's work. You know, like, yeah, you'll see social media, us rocking parties and crazy lights and CO2 cannons. Like, it's like, you know, it's the craziest thing on social media.
There's a strategy
but there's
behind
so
all those
much,
things.
but there's like so much like grind work that goes into making those epic moments, right?
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things like you have to love it to be in this industry. If you don't love it, you're gonna fizzle out real quick.
Will chew you up. And spit you out.
You'll burn out so quick.
That's why I see so many talented people from DJs, MCs, to planners, to photographers, talented people coming in for 2-3 years and they're out the door. Yeah. You know, they can't work with the time schedule. Yeah. The weekends, because the weekends are shot at this point, right? Yeah. And that's huge. Because I got a feeling that most people go from a 9 to 5. And now they want to pursue their career in the wedding industry, or the events industry in general. And the events industry is a weekend thing. Yeah, it's not 9 to 5, bro.
It's 24 hours.
Yeah,
24/7, baby.
Exactly. Forget about time with your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your kids.
Yeah,
your girlfriends, your boyfriends. I mean, you're a dad. Yeah, right. I'm sure that takes a big toll on you, like leaving your kid at home on the weekends. You know, when that's your time to bond with your child. Yeah,
and it's not even just the weekends, even the weekdays. Like right now, I dropped my son off at my parent-in-law's.
Should have brought him in.
Man, bro, this podcast would not be recording right now. I'll be chasing him around this office right now.
I told my producer to bring a high chair.
I'll bring him in next. I was thinking about bringing my dog here just to let him chill here, but yeah, like even like during the weekdays, it's crazy, right? Like,
what's your dog's name?
Theo.
Yeah. What kind of dog is he?
Golden Doodle. 85-pound big boy.
85 pounds.
Yeah, nice and fluffy.
That's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
Damn,
when my wife and I got him, we're like, you know, he was categorized as a standard doodle. So we're like, oh, cool. He's going to be small because all the ones I've ever seen were small. Yeah. And he comes to our house and he's got these big ass paws, and the vet's like, "Oh, he's gonna be a big dog." Everybody's, you know, meeting him. Oh, he's gonna be a big dog, and then we're like, "What is everybody talking about?" And then now it's like,
so those paws.
Now he's a big ass dog. So, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love him. He's a great dog, very well behaved. But anyways, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so like the weekdays is crazy because, you know, I'm here doing this podcast. I just came from Paramus from a client meeting, and like I had to drop my son off at my in-laws just so they could watch him for a little bit, right? Tomorrow he goes back to daycare, but then tomorrow I got site visits to do, right? Yeah. So even during the weekdays, like there's a balance act that has to happen to maintain my work and my business, but also be the best father I could possibly be at the same time, right?
Is it a struggle or is it like seamless?
Sometimes it's a struggle, and then sometimes it's absolutely seamless. And I got to give so much credit to my wife because
your support system.
She is incredible. She makes this thing look easy as hell, and I would be like a lost puppy if it wasn't for her. So I gotta, you know, Rima, I love you, thank you.
All around women, that's what they're really good at. To make it look easy.
Yeah, she makes it look very easy especially like when he first came home. Like it was just nuts. I'm sure. He was born. His birthday's in July, and it was smack dab in the middle of wedding season. Yeah. So literally he was born on a Thursday. The following Friday, Saturday, I had weddings. So I was right back to work. There was no like.
Want to go back to work?
No. Yeah. Realistically, no. But like as a business owner and, you know, an entrepreneur, you don't have, you know, maternity leave.
You don't have that luxury.
You don't have that luxury of maternity leave. You know, like there's people who are telling me like, oh, you should like plan to take off a month after, you know, he's born. I'm like, who's paying the bills? You know what I mean? Like money's got to come in, right? So like, we don't have that luxury, and that's a sacrifice I think a lot of clients don't fully understand. Is that like, you know, we don't have the luxuries that most people that have a 9 to 5 job have, and it's crazy. And that also should emphasize how much we love what we do, because we love what we do, but we also love our family, and we got to, make both things work, and we find a way to make it work.
Sometimes it's mad difficult, man. Yeah. There's so many times where I missed out on so many dinners, baby showers, birthday parties, all that good stuff.
My aunt hosts a Diwali dinner every year, and I miss it every year because I have an event, and she will never let me, go off easy on that.
It was funny because I was going through the same exact things, right? Like always missing the parties and always missing the family time.
Yeah.
And then they start thinking a certain way. The family members are like, well, he doesn't want to be around a family, right? So that's one way to look at it. And then your young cousins are like, no, he's out working, he's DJing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so then after a while, you start to come off as quote unquote a celebrity because they see you online, but they don't see you at the family events. So then when
you're too good.
Yeah.
Jay, you're too good, right?
Exactly. What, you too good? Yo, you don't understand how many times I came across that nonsense. Yeah. And the thing is, so with the same thing, so if you were to actually make time and go to that particular event, Jay, you're not working today? Come on.
That's a weird question. It's like, oh, what are you doing here? You're not working today?
Yeah,
almost kind of like judging you for a second.
100%.
Like everything okay? Like you're not working? Like I'm good, man.
Took
like
the day off
I'm here. Like enjoy the fact that I'm here right now, because this is a very rare occasion.
And you gotta explain that all the time. It pisses me off.
Yeah.
It does, man. And there's a certain time frame like we dress a certain way when we're working. We're on. It's an on-off switch, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're with your family and friends, it's completely different, right? You're not working.
Yeah.
You're not dressed a certain way. So now the expectations are completely different. There were times where I had to dress down to go to my family events.
Yeah.
I can't wear my Yo, my uncle
you can
will
wear
tear
that anywhere,
me apart.
Bro. Fly ass jacket.
I appreciate that. My uncles and aunts, my cousins will tear me apart.
Yeah.
If I wore this to a family jump.
Oh, Jay just came from work, right?
I caught myself. I called myself a few weeks ago. I was at a family birthday party, right, at the Excelsior, and as an entertainer, when I walk into a room, I pause in front of the entrance, gauge the room real quick, a few seconds, then I make my entrance. So that's what happened. I arrived, I opened the door, and I see my cousins hanging around, and I stood there for a good 5, maybe 7 seconds. That's a long time. And just gauging the room and see where everybody else, then I made my way inside. My cousin caught me. He's like, yo, Jay, you were waiting for applause? I'm like... Actually, I was waiting for a fucking applause. I'm used to that shit.
Let's go. Come on.
It was my applause. Nah, bro. Welcome home.
Oh, my God.
Welcome home. They'll reset you so quickly.
Yeah.
Everything, they'll level set you, bring you back to reality. Listen, you're still my little cousin, no matter where you think you're going, blah, blah, blah. And that jacket is fly, by the way.
Yeah.
That's part of it. That's part of it. Dressing a certain way when you're working and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question, though. Dressing a certain way when you're at an event.
Yeah.
I'm sure you work with celebrity MCs, celebrity DJs, and all that good stuff. A show coming in, a singer coming in. For example, Jay Sean.
Yeah.
Right? Jay Sean, if you're listening, I would love to have you on the show later. Okay, my man.
Dope show, bro.
We know a few people. We know a few of the same people.
Yeah.
But having a singer come on board and doing a performance, right? Which is great. And it's great for the audience itself. But I always thought, now, correct me if I'm wrong, I always thought that it takes away from the energy and the attention for the bride and groom.
I think everybody's looking to separate their event from the next one over, because every call I get from a client, hey, how can we make our event different from the next, right? Because what ends up happening, you see a lot of recycled mundups and, stage decor.
Well, that's all products, though, right? I mean, everyone's going to be limited with the same products.
But that's the thing. A lot of it's redundant. Even the food menu. I don't even eat food at these receptions because what is it? Butter chicken, paneer makhani, palak paneer. It's the same thing over and over again. Yep. All our whole crew would have diabetes if we kept eating all this food. It was just, bad oily food.
I was 240 pounds at one point. 240 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was all fat.
Yeah.
And because I was eating every single weekend dinner.
Yeah.
I had the plate with the rice and a goat.
Yeah.
And naan on the side.
Yeah.
That's all I ate.
Just carbs and oil.
That's all I ate.
And butter.
And the next thing I knew, I was 240 pounds. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Now I just enjoy the cocktail hour a little bit at a time.
If it's grilled food, like grilled chicken and stuff like that, I'm all for it. But after that, it's nah, because it's naan. you know, the bread, rice, oil, butter, this, that. It's like just carbs and like.
I wonder if there's any catering company that's going to come out with a vegan menu.
I think Mogul is doing something like that.
Okay.
Because I remember even like when I got married, which is like 7 years ago, they did tell me that they were like kind of playing around with the idea of it.
Nice.
But to do it on like a mass scale for weddings, like I think you kind of have to like tweak a few things to make it taste as good as like their regular product, you know?
But isn't it something similar with Jain food? Like you know, from the Sarvadani Mandir?
Maybe, yeah.
There's no onions and no...
Yeah, no onions. No, so with Jain food, no rooted vegetables.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of Jain friends. So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question, a stupid question, right? My best friend is Jain. My best friend is Jain. He's a vegetarian, all that good stuff. Doesn't eat eggs, nothing, right? And he tells me that, you know, being Jain, you can't eat garlic and all that stuff because there's a rooted...
when you uproot the vegetables, you're hurting insects.
Yeah, and you're using manure to grow the food. But isn't that everywhere? You're growing... I mean, everything you eat... I mean, even if you have an apple... of an apple tree, for example. It's growing from a tree. And that tree is growing from manure.
No, I think trees are different.
Bro, stop it. It's growing from somewhere. We could dissect it to...
Where is this conversation going?
Ends, right? Going down that road. But the whole concept of it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, to each their own, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense to me because there's always a rebuttal for everything that you're going to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, so I've had some Jain food that's been like delicious. Like I remember, like I had paneer one time. It was Jain paneer, and it had no, onions or garlic or whatever like they put in paneer makhani, and it was like the most amazing paneer makhani I've ever had in my life. I would have chosen that over regular paneer makhani. But what was the question?
We're talking about Mogul and the vegan.
Yeah, so
menu.
I think to do it on a large scale, like it's got to be done properly, right? Because you could also piss off a lot of people with some bad food. Because we all know there's some caterers out there that will definitely F up a good buffet. Well,
you gotta be consistent in something, right?
Yeah, you have to. And if your business is food, you better be consistent with the food.
Absolutely.
So
now you mentioned like with the food, it has to be consistent, right? The mandaps are all the products that are like redundant, so recycled, right? And the same thing with like, how can you make your event that much different?
Yeah, so
what
like
can you possibly do?
So like every client I ever talk to, they're always like, "Hey, how can we separate our event from the next one?" And like a lot of the stuff is redundant. Same buffet menu, same decor pieces, all this stuff, whatever, right? So it's like I'm not necessarily against having like performers come through like Jay Sean. We've done events with like Jay Sean, RDB, and even Raghav, like a whole bunch of different people. I saw a wedding that happened over the weekend with like Rupi performed at Legacy Castle. I wasn't the DJ, but I just saw it on social media, which I thought was cool. It adds like a different element to the wedding and the reception versus just having like a straight up dance party the whole time. Yeah. And I would obviously be biased because I'm a DJ and like I just want to rock the party the whole night. I don't want the attention to go anywhere to any other performer, right? Yeah. But in terms of like because I always tell the clients, I'm like, it's all about the experience of the event. Yeah. Put yourself in like your client's shoes. What are they going to enjoy? And what I don't like is when you have too much stuff. Like I did a wedding one time many years ago, and they had a comedian, they had a violinist.
A comedian at a wedding?
Yeah.
During cocktail hour?
No, during dinner. Like they had a plated dinner.
Okay.
So everybody's sitting down, food served at their tables. Yeah, dinner and a show. Okay. But then, after the comedian, they had a violinist. And then they had like these like Cirque du Soleil, like floral dancing girls that came in and just started dancing. Okay. And then, then the planner's like, all right, open up the dance floor. The dancers are going to stay on the floor and whatever, like do their thing to your music. I'm like, all right, cool. But then like halfway through, they're like, all right, we're going to bring a saxophonist out now and do this. I personally hate that. Because it's just like this high-pitched screeching sound.
And the focus mixing too.
Yeah, and the thing is like they're just playing like random notes. Like they're not like sometimes they're not fully aware of like what the song is. So like, for example, like Nightcrawler's Push the Feeling On has a and like that saxophone sample, right? Yeah. If you don't know that song and I'm playing it and then all of a sudden you start playing a bunch of like different random saxophone notes. What's the point? Yeah. It's like, all right, like you're not playing to the song, you're just kind of like doing whatever you want to do. And to me, I hate that. Even like when it comes to like tabla, dole, like any of the stuff. If you're not playing to the music, then you're just adding noise.
100%.
And to me, I don't like that. Like, so again, if you're doing too much, stop. That's the theme. You know, if you're doing too much, stop. And again, with the clients, if you're doing too many performances, even dance performances from your family and friends, if you got like 6 people performing at like 10 minutes each, you know, your whole hour is eaten up.
There you go.
You know, if you have too many speeches, it's going to eat up all this time. And when you're doing too much at your event, regardless if it's a Sweet 16, a wedding, engagement party, or whatever it is, if you're doing too much, stop.
What I try to do is, if I was to bring in an electric violinist, for example, I would have them touch base with the DJ, have a 20-minute conversation. Talk about what you're going to be doing. Right? If you could probably do a rehearsal, beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to go in blind. I'm the same way with my dole players as well. The morning broad is one thing, which is fine. But the reception, don't just come in and add to it. That's going to be noise, right? It's like if you're talking, and if I'm talking, and that's just a conflict of our vocals, that's just noise at that point. Right? Listen to the music. Listen, I'm playing this song followed by this song. Let's do some skits. You know what I'm saying? Let's make it into a performance. Do something with it. So I try to do that with all my outside vendors, right? For example, I'm doing another wedding in a couple of weeks. I have a singer for the cocktail hour, right? He's by himself doing this thing. I have an electric violinist opening doors, right? And then she's going to stay on for the reception. But for the reception, she has to go through some rehearsals with the DJ. So I just don't want you to play for the whole duration of the dance party. That's not happening at all.
It should be a performance.
Exactly. It's going to come in, do like 2-3 songs at a time, go away for 20 minutes, come back, 2-3 songs at a time, go away for 20 minutes. Do it like that, because now it's like a little bit at a time, and that's beautiful. Instead of just constant, because it's overkill. And that's just noise at the end of the day.
Like know when to come in and out. Like I don't want to hear a Dole remix to Drake's God's Plan. I'm sorry, you know, like there's certain songs like, and that's when I get kind of annoyed with like the live, you know, instruments and stuff like that. It's like when you're coming in and you're doing it to a song that, like, if the crowd wants it, like, if the bride and groom are part of a Bhangra team and at Rutgers at some point, fine. Like, maybe it calls for it, but, like, kind of read the room a little bit. Just because you have a dole doesn't mean it needs to be played for every single song.
And also, if you're a DJ that produces his or her own music, and you drop that particular track, and you worked hours, days, weeks on this one particular track, now you have a dole player putting on another track on it, like another level, that must be pissing you off. I mean, that would definitely piss me off.
There's certain moments where, like, you got to let the DJ do his thing and shine, and that DJ will notice that, and, well, they should notice that, and they'll reciprocate that love and let you shine. Like, everybody will have their moment to be a micro-celebrity within that wedding.
A micro-celebrity.
Micro-celebrity.
I like that.
Yeah, so within the 4 or 5 hours, you know, that you have in that party, like, everybody should have their moment to shine and do their thing. Caterers do it when they serve their food. You know, wedding coordinators, you guys have the whole day basically to, like, be with the bride and groom and do your thing and make sure they're happy and, like,
make sure it runs smoothly.
Yeah, and, like, most of the time the bride and grooms will shout you guys out and, like, hey, shout out to the planner. You guys did an amazing job. We couldn't do this without you, so on and so forth. Great. When's the DJ going to shine? When that dance floor opens up, that's their moment. They're going to rock. They're going to, like, really put on a good show for the bride and groom, right? The dole players, like, unless you have, like, a proper, you know, sequenced, you know, show that you're going to put on where you have rehearsed to a track, you know exactly what you're going to do. It's all timed out accordingly. Great. Let me know what that track is. I'm going to put it on. You do your thing. I'm going to let you shine. I'll shout you out. I'll rock out with you, 100%. You know, all that stuff. I think there's a time and place for everybody under, you know, within that 4 or 5 hour block of, like, the wedding reception, right?
I mean, your dance floor is only like 2 hours, maybe 3.
And that's the thing, right? If I just have a dole player, like, just, or whoever, it doesn't. I keep saying dole player because it's the most common thing to mention, but it could be any. It could be like a saxophone, whatever. It could be a conga player, anything. If you're doing too much and you're kind of taking over what I'm trying to do, it also kind of messes with the energy of what I'm trying to give to the dance floor, right? If
that storyline you're trying to create.
Yeah, that storyline. All of a sudden, you're putting a bookmark in there and ripping a chapter out and skipping pages and stuff. Like, it's a weird analogy, but yeah, like, it's just,
I get what you're saying.
You're gonna mess up the flow of, like, what I'm trying to do or what any DJ is trying to do. Like, have respect for the DJ, because the DJ, in my opinion, is one of the most important parts of the wedding.
It's the DJ and it's the food.
Yeah,
that's only 2 things.
I think DJ is number 1.
I have to agree. I definitely have to agree.
Because you could take away the buffet, man. You could order Uber Eats, get some Taco Bell, whatever you want to do. But if that music is gone, you can't Uber Eats a DJ. You can't,
Facts.
Unless you know someone that could give them a ride to have them come over. But you know what I mean? Like you can't just bring in a DJ. Like the DJ has to be scheduled. You're picking the DJ based off their talent, what they bring to the table, and what they're going to do for your crowd. And
do you think that's predominantly what we're used to in the tri-state area? Because there's a couple of states in the Midwest and down south.
Oh, DJs are not priority outside of the tri-state area. I'll tell you that.
I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Because I have a lot of uphill battles with like planners out there for even just like where my DJ booth is going to be. Sometimes they want to stick me in a corner. I'm like, nah, homie.
How do you feel
That's
about
not going to happen. I hate it. It pisses me off a lot because, in the tri-state area, I think collectively as a community, all the DJs have worked so hard to make ourselves not just like, oh, we're the DJ, we're the jukebox, we're not just like another like iTunes or Apple Music. No, we're like an artist coming into the room, and we have a very specific set of skills that's going to put on a show and entertain your guests. So when they walk home or walk to their rooms and they go home, they're driving home, they're like, damn, like I had a damn good time. And obviously there's all those follow-up calls. Oh, auntie, did you have a good time? Or like, whatever, like the parents start talking to each other. DJ was great, yeah, so good, and like that's what parents want to hear because they're spending a lot of money on their kids, their weddings and stuff. They want to hear from their guests that they had a good time.
100%.
And
because parents do it for the guests.
Yeah, they're doing it for you host a wedding reception for the guests. If that wasn't the case, then you just get married with your immediate family and call it a day, go out for dinner, at Mogul Express and call it a night,
That's what's happening nowadays after COVID. The micro weddings is in.
Yeah.
There's no more big ballroom weddings. You got people are going to court with their parents, get that done. Yeah. Go to the Monday, get that done. Have a small little celebration, get that done. And save all that money and go buy yourself a house.
Yeah. Some of the COVID weddings we did were kind of cool.
Tell me.
Because we did a wedding at Hanover Marriott one time, and they had set up the dance floor, but you weren't allowed to dance. So, like, we had to tell people to stay at their tables to dance.
So just bop in the chair?
Yeah, no, like, you could, like, there's, like, whatever, 10 chairs on a table. Okay. Just, like, the waiters would come and, like, give you a drink at your table. It's almost like having, like, a table at a nightclub. Like, you're not walking around, you're going to, you're going to flex at your table. So, like, the drinks would come to your table, and you would just dance at your table and have a party. So food's there. Like, everything's all at your table, so you don't have to get up. You don't have to move around. So, like, it was a really challenging thing, but it was a cool experience at the same time because, again, like, for a lot of the stuff that's, like, redundant in our business, like, that was something different and cool and chill. And it was we did a wedding in Maryland, and apparently in Maryland law, if you they consider dancing like exercise. So you're allowed to have dancing on a dance floor because it's considered exercise. It's a physical activity.
That was the loophole?
Yeah, that was the loophole. So we were able to do a dance floor in Maryland during COVID because of that loophole. It was the funniest thing.
Wow, I just learned something new today.
Yeah, the banquet manager came up to us like, because I was like, yo, how are we having a dance floor? Like, it's COVID. They're like, oh, no, like it's considered exercise in Maryland, so we can do it. I'm like, all right, crazy. Sure, let's do
different rules, different folks.
Double
different
masked
strokes.
up and everything, yeah.
That's crazy, man. You started a company called VR.
Yes.
Production.
Yes.
High-end production. Let me get it right.
High-end.
High-end production.
High-end equipment.
High-end equipment.
Yeah, everything.
All that stuff. So that was primarily for the wedding industry and your private events?
No.
Or was that from a corporate?
Straight corporate. Okay. So, a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the equipment is used in the wedding industry, but my main focus was corporate events, non-denominational like events. Like there's no like, hey, it's just for Indian people or, South Asian people or, Asian people or black, whatever. Like it was for everybody. Yeah. And it's one of those things where like I wanted to start a business where I could be in every room. Even if I was DJing at one location, I could be in multiple rooms and still earn income despite me not being there.
Of course.
Right? So, and I've always been like a lover of like tech stuff. I've always geeked out on like audio equipment, lighting, all that stuff. Since day one, I've always tried to purchase the best equipment I could afford. Even like my first set of speakers were like these EAW towers.
Oh, the big towers.
Yeah, the dual 15 towers that weighed a ton. And, you know, I got to shout out DJ Suge. He's the first one that I saw. You know, he had those towers. Ladla had them. Yep. I think Karma had them. I think Sharad even had them. Like a bunch of people had them, right?
AWs,
yeah, the LA 325s. Google it up if you don't know what that is. Kick-ass system.
Model number too.
Quick. Dude. That's what I'm saying. Like I remember model numbers of what I've had over the years. I remember, you know, how it sounded, you know, just everything about it. Even like all the drivers in that speaker, like I replaced them myself. Like I unscrewed it, took it apart. Like I nerded out to that extent where like I'm performing surgery on like these speakers, you know? And ever since then, I'm like, yo, like I wanted to do something more than just DJing. Like I wanted to elevate the events that maybe I'm not necessarily a part of as a DJ, but I could be the guy, you know, to the side of the DJ booth versus, you know, behind the DJ booth, or you know, I could be the guy in front of the DJ booth, making sure that the DJ up on the stage sounds good, or that he looks good with his lighting, or that the bride and groom stage looks amazing. Yeah, you know, or if we're at a corporate event, hey, make sure like the keynote speaker can be heard clearly around the room.
I feel like personally that's more fulfilling. Yeah, because now you're doing so many other things, like, you know, versus DJing. Yeah. Because you got one goal at that point is to make sure they're dancing. Yeah. Which is hard. Yeah. It's definitely hard, right? Because you're always like 10 steps ahead of the game. Yeah. Like, what's the next song? But 10 steps ahead. So now you're doing technical stuff. Yeah. On the back end. The sound quality, all the lighting, all that beautiful stuff, right? Yeah. That gives you more feeling of fulfillment, I personally think. Yeah.
And it's harder than DJing.
Yeah,
DJing is like easy. Like I could do it blindfolded with earplugs in, all that stuff.
You're an expert onto it.
I've been doing it for so long. It's 24 years now, right? Yeah. And there's like a saying, I don't know who came up with it. You probably know, but somebody said like it's 10,000 hours to perfecting your craft. Yeah. So like, I don't know how, it's probably 100,000 hours at this point, right? Like, but I've done so many events over the years that like now, like I walk into a room. Just based off like how people are speaking, body language, all that stuff, I know exactly what kind of crowd I'm dealing with. 100%. I know what direction to go with, you know, when it comes to like the music and everything. So it's very easy for me. It's too easy now. Yeah. You know, and I needed like a challenge, and
that's important.
Yeah, you need that.
You gotta challenge yourself. Yeah. I'm a strong believer in that. Yeah. I always say if you're on the top of one mountain, you're on the bottom of the other. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, if you're just getting by now, you're just so bored with it, the passion is gone. Yeah. Then what are you going to do? You got to challenge yourself, right? Because you're so comfortable in that position. Yeah. But being comfortable, that's not growth. Yeah. And if you're someone like me, I always have to grow. Yeah. What's the next step? What's the next step? Because the thing is, if you stop growing, you start living. You stop growing, you stop living. I personally believe.
Yeah. And there's mental burnout too with that, right? Yeah. Like if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, like you feel like you're just living Groundhog's Day, doing the same thing over and over. And like there are certain weekends where I'm doing these weddings, I'm just like, damn, like I wish there was something different we could do here right now, and I just can't, like because I'm stuck with whatever is here, you know. And like the whole production side of things is just nuts, because I'll give you an example. Like we have a corporate event next week in New York City, and we're doing 100 translation headsets. Okay. So it's a Chinese company, and they have a conference happening in New York City. We have to provide 100 headsets so that they can hear the translation of the keynote speaker. Okay. And then on top of that, we're doing a 60-foot by 11-foot high LED wall, which is massive.
That's huge.
So, you know, yeah, sure, just plug in on an HDMI cable. No, like now we have like a Barco E2, you know, 4K processor, because we have to split the LED wall in half so that, you know, the image comes out to 4K, because you can't do it off one processor. Like there's all these like random nerdy things, and I probably just sounded like I was speaking Japanese for a second for anyone who doesn't like fully understand what I'm talking about, but like that's cool to me. Like I love learning about stuff like that and getting into the technical like nitty-gritty side of things, because it's fun. Whereas like, and then the beauty about everything that I'm learning now through VR, I can carry that over to the private event market, where now our clients are now able to elevate, you know, to a higher level, so and introduce stuff
for the weddings, though, right?
Yeah, you know, and the thing is, VR also I created so that I could collaborate with everybody in the industry, because I know there's like a certain competitiveness with like me being DJ Insomnia, but like I could take that name away, put it to the side, and now VR is like a blank slate. Now it's like, hey, this is a production company coming in, working with you, you're the DJ, you're the star, you're going to shine. I'm going to make sure you look good. Yeah. I'm going to make sure you sound good.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the main goals behind creating VR is to collaborate with everybody, work with everybody, and fulfill that technical geeky side of me that like, you know, wants to just be a part of the event. For me,
glowing when you talk about this.
Yeah, and the thing is like I learned after so many years that I don't need to be the top line of the invoice. Like I don't need to have my name at the top line of that invoice. I could be at the bottom of the invoice working for somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I just want to be a part of the event now.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Yeah, like I just for me it's about collaborating with people and just putting on a kick-ass show. Whoever's DJing, earlier, doesn't matter.
Like clients call you and ask you, so Insomnia, what can we do that's different?
Yeah.
Right? Do you think the production concept of it is being different?
Yeah, 1,000%. I think adding lighting and doing it in a tasteful way.
Yeah.
Because that's the key thing, doing it in a tasteful way. You could add all the lights in the world, but if you want like a candlelit setting, but you know, your DJ is selling you 50 moving heads, then you're just at a Las Vegas nightclub at that point. You're not doing your candlelit setting. So I think it also comes with a sort of responsibility and, you know, knowledge of how to approach a client and say, hey, you know what? You have to have also like that confidence and resistance to say, hey, you know what? You don't need 50 moving heads. You don't need 20 moving heads. You can do maybe just some
saying
Lycos.
No to a client is one of the hardest things. But it has to be done.
But you know what? In the long run, you will get a lot more respect from that client, and they will be more willing to refer you because you did honest work. You weren't just trying to take every little nickel and dime out of them.
You had their best interest in mind.
Yeah, exactly. And that's very important. Yeah. And I think that having that mentality comes with years of experience.
Yeah.
You know, you and I were talking about it before we even started recording, how like, you know, we're always trying to look out for the best interest of the client and making sure that like, you know, any way we could pay it forward to them, like we'll do that.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to you about, the whole credit system.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like instead of me getting commission from like an event planner or a photographer, like I don't want that couple $100. Send that money towards the client.
Yeah.
Save it. You know what I'm saying? Because the clients are there for you. I mean, without the clients, where are we going to be?
Yeah. Look out the clients, 100%.
I'm a strong believer. I can believe on that.
It's good karma. It'll come back to you.
It has to come back to you, right? Like, you know, with that, it's all about business ethics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all part of the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Knowing what to do and what not to do it.
Yeah.
And not being a scumbag about it.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's a couple of times where I used to send out, when I first started, for example, when I didn't have a team, I would like freelance with other DJs and send them out, and they would pass out their information, but under my label. You know, like there were times where I got a call from the client, like, hey, Jay, by the way, your DJ that you sent gave me his card. Should I give him a call or give you a call? What do I do?
Yeah.
I feel like that's all business ethics.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people have that. And that comes with age also. Like that comes with being a veteran in this wedding industry.
Yeah.
I got to know what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
I feel like it's lost on the young community. But at the same time, they don't want to like change it. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's kind of out for themselves.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
And that's huge in the South. That's very big in the South. I get a couple of my colleagues, and even from a few of my DJ buddies in Detroit. Like, Jay, what do you do when you send out DJs who pass out their own cards?
Yeah.
What type of advice do you have?
Yeah.
I tell them, pay them more. Pay them more. I pay my guys top money above the market rate just to make sure that they're loyal.
Yeah.
Because that's huge. I'll buy that loyalty. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what's going to take for you to not pass out your own cards and be part of my organization, then so be it.
Yeah.
You know, I will pay you very well what you want. But that's part of it, though. I mean, you got to pay. You got to pay at that point.
Yeah.
You know,
I think, you know, like our South Asian community is so like tightly knit that if you are a person that is going to hand out your own business card when you're working under a different brand, that word will spread very quickly.
You're not gonna get away from it.
I mean, you're not going to get away from it, and also your business is going to get cut off. Like, 100%. Who's going to want to trust you to do something like that? You know, with our crew in Premiere, like, we act as like a DJ agency.
Yeah.
So we have our set list of DJs on our roster. We handle all the production, all the bookings, everything, even client relationships with, like, you know, dealing with them with the schedules, itinerary, stuff like that. Like, we handle all of that for them. Yeah. And then the week of, we get on a call and our DJs speak to the clients, develop that rapport, that connection, and then when the day comes, they rock out, and we have like exclusive rights to their bookings. So if anybody's having issues like that with other DJs handing out different cards, I think maybe change the business model a little bit. And I got to shout out Magic Mike, because he was kind of the guy who to really establish that format of having an agency, and I think a lot of the, I guess OGs, if you want to call it, like us, Sherrod's crew, like we all have that DJ agency format. And I think having that format also helps your brand out, because you're able to develop a brand that's like consistent. Like when people call it Premier, they know that like whatever DJ they're getting is like a solid party rocker, and
branding is huge.
Yeah, and it's got to be consistent, right? So like whether you're at my event, you're at Ambition's event, Gaurav Kumar's event, HR Beats, any of our guys, whoever you get from our crew, like, and the thing is, all our DJs have their own business cards, but it's under a Premier brand.
Yeah,
it's a very different way that we've marketed our crew.
Is it the office?
So it's my information as well as my partner Darshan's information.
Okay.
But the picture, it's a double-sided business card. The picture of the DJ is a picture of the DJ. Like the other side of the business card is them. It's a professional photo.
Right?
Yeah. So like, the DJ's able to market themselves and brand themselves, but also brand us at the same time. And they're developing loyalty to us because, we're giving them the tools and the access to get into rooms that they probably normally wouldn't be able to get into on their own.
Yeah.
And we're helping them also develop their brand, right? Because you could kind of like just pimp yourself out and DJ for every single crew in the world, but you're never going to build a brand. And that's everything. If you want to build a brand, you got to stay loyal to something. Either work solo.
Unless you are that brand. Unless you are that brand.
Yeah, but then if you're DJing for everybody, I think you kind of diminish the value of your brand.
Okay.
Because I think, like, for example, like if I had just hired random DJs in Jersey, just for example, right? What stops somebody from just going to that person to just book them directly versus calling me up, right? Or vice versa. Like, you know what I mean? Like that DJ could also just go out, represent us, but then they might just call us and then we don't give them the event, right? It's a mutual relationship, right? So like, for them to just be the brand by themselves and just kind of push everybody off to the side, that's fine. If you do your own thing, do your own thing. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But if you're going to DJ for a crew, I personally feel like you should be sticking to one crew.
One particular crew.
Yeah, because then even like as like the crew also develops a specific sound. They develop a specific look, image, all that stuff. Like Premier, like we have our own image. Like we have our own look. Like when you see us, when you hear our sound system, when you see our lighting, like when you see our DJs rocking, like we have a very specific format and formula to what we do, which works for us, right? Yeah. And I think if you're a DJ DJing for different crews, like you're never also going to develop your own sound, right? Because, like let's say like a DJ, works with you, you're emceeing their event, right? Like they're never going to fully develop if they start DJing for everybody else. Like your DJ should be DJing for you. That's just my opinion, right?
100%.
I think because then,
because
then also as an MC, you know how they DJ, and I'm sure you have your set list, of DJs that you love working with because you know how they work, you know how they operate and stuff, right? And again, it's mutual, right? Like you know how they operate, they know how you MC. And like it's harmony, it's beautiful because then once you guys are rocking, because once you're rocking the dance floor, like it's flawless.
As the MC, I know what the next song is going to be.
Yeah.
I know where he's going to cut. I know when I need to talk.
Yeah.
And it's seamless.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, aside from the business side of things of like building your brand and like making it consistent, even your performance will become more consistent because now you're working with people that you understand, you work side by side with, and like your performances will just be flawless night after night after night.
100%. But like even as an MC, right? Even if you don't work with the same DJ all the time.
Yeah.
As an MC, as an event host, you need to understand music.
Yeah.
You have to understand when the choruses are going to drop, when the beat break is, the highs and the lows.
Yeah, you need to know how to say 3, 2, 1 on beat.
There you go. It's
not 3, 2, 1, right? And then 4 beats pass, and then the drop comes in.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like, you already know what I'm talking about. So stuff like that, you got to know the music. Yeah. There's a couple of MCs out there who are great at what they do, but they just need to know how to read the music, because that's huge.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's just like a little polishing, right? Like that could always be fixed, you know. But yeah, like they to perfect your craft, you have to understand music. Even with lighting guys, I tell some of the lighting guys in my crew, I'm like, yo, like, you know, you're doing your thing with the patterns, but you're not doing it to the music.
Yeah.
And that's just as important as the MC rocking the mic to the music. You know,
100%.
dole players, you know, rocking their dole to the music. Like everybody has to be in sync with the music. If you're not understanding music and your beat counts and stuff like that, then you need to kind of sit down.
Your build up, your show.
Yeah, do some homework, man. I remember when I first started learning how to MC, like party rocking MC, not like the, you know, introductions and stuff like that, because that's a whole other talent that takes time to develop, right? Yeah. But just party rocking MC, I would literally be in my car listening to music, and I would just start shouting shit out on the mic, not in the mic, but like in my car, as if I'm like emceeing a party. And that's kind of how I learned.
As you should be.
Yeah, just kind of that's how I learned how to, like, you know, go with the flow of the music, like come up with things to say that like would, you know, accompany the music and not clash with the music, you know. So like I think a lot of guys, if you're MCs and you want to get serious about MCing, like you really need to hone in on the music and practice and understand it. Yeah, man. Talk to Jay, man. He knows what he's doing.
I appreciate that. There's a whole science behind it, man. There's a whole science behind the way you speak, when to speak, the clash of your vocals, working the pauses, for example. You're looking at me like, what the fuck is that? So working the pauses, right? You mentioned a few minutes ago, as a formal MC, taking care of the introductions and the formalities is different than a party rocking MC, right? Working the pauses is something I coined a while ago, because I need to make sure my crowd is engaged every minute of the event.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, you get it, right?
Yeah, so like there's one thing that one example I always give. I've given it to all my guys in my crew too. Like that song Om Shanti Om.
Yeah.
After the first chorus comes, there's like a break where it goes like like whatever, like there's like a break. There's no lyrics, nothing, not even a beat. And it's kind of like dead air. And what I noticed was anytime the crowd's on the floor, they're just kind of like looking around like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm like, yo, get on the mic. Shout out the bride and groom. Like, tell them to make some noise. Get their hands up. Do something to fill up that dead air.
Yeah, no dead air. I hate dead air.
Yeah.
I talk to my clients about that shit all the time. I hate dead air.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have cocktail A, cocktail B in two separate locations. Have the music flow continuously somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even from speech to speech, when there's that break and the, you know, guest is taking a picture with the bride and groom, DJs have some background music playing. No silence.
Music, I hate silence, man. And like also, like even as an MC, right? I've been also teaching a few workshops, and I teach my MCs and my hosts, like, listen to the speeches. Yeah. The parents of the groom, the parents of the bride, they're talking. Listen to the speeches. You have to take account the reaction from the crowd. Are they like happy? Is it like an awe moment, right? Feed into that. Yeah. So instead of just saying a big round of applause for the parents of the groom, take a step further. Uncle, I loved your speech. That tidbit you said about the groom's shoes or this and that. Yeah. It tugged on my heartstrings. Yeah. Thank you very much. We all appreciate a big round of applause. Just fill that space, because now your crowd is engaged even more. Yeah. Because they're all jaded. Yeah. They all been to the same events. They know what's happening. They know the food. They know the same 75 songs. They know the decor. They're like, my kaka had the same decor. Yeah. My boys had the same decor. Yeah. So forth and so on, right? It's been there. They're jaded. So what can you do that's a little bit different? Because the last thing you want is your crowd to be talking. Yeah. Talking amongst themselves, having a party amongst themselves in the main event. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So keep them engaged. Just be different. Just reinvent yourself all the time. Yeah. And just talk at the mic. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of, and slow down when you're talking as well. Yeah. Like, also when you mix, right?
That's a skill too. Like your cadence and how you speak.
100%.
That also plays, because I remember back in the day when I first started emceeing, I used to talk really fast. I'm typical Jersey. Yeah, like I'm a typical Jersey person. I talk fast as hell. Yeah. So like I remember when I used to MC, I used to talk really, really fast. And then I remember I saw some video of me. Somebody, like one of my guys, recorded me emceeing introductions. And I just remember I was like, damn, I'm talking really fast. Like this is weird. Like I feel like I'm like rushing to get the introductions over with. Maybe, and that might have been the truth. Maybe I was just nervous and I wanted to get it over with.
That's common though. Like most MCs that talk really fast, they don't want to be on a floor because they're nervous being in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people. Yeah. Right. So they want to get off the floor as soon as possible. Yeah. But once you slow down and you enjoy that attention, and it's not even the attention, you know, it's the control.
Yeah, right? Commanding the room,
There you go. I mean, I'm an alpha person, right? I feel like I I want to be in control, especially in a room. Like I want to take my time.
Yeah.
And jump on the floor. Like when the doors are open, I'm in the center of the floor with the mic in my hand, just bopping to the beat.
Yeah.
Just bopping to the beat, not even saying anything. Like they're walking in, they see me on the mic. Oh, that's probably the MC.
Yeah.
There's a mic in his hand, but he's also dancing on the floor real quick by himself.
You're having a good time.
I'm having a blast. They see this. Now you see them dancing a little bit too, right? But now I have full control of that person.
Yeah.
Because they saw this. You know what I'm saying? There's no disconnect anymore.
Yeah.
So now when I'm on the mic, it's like, ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Ooh, I got chills.
Like, I like that shit, bro. And it's true because you got to work the pauses. You need to know. It's all about being dramatic. That's good and bad, but being dramatic at the right time.
Yeah.
Like I have a skit for my first dance. My first skit is a little bit different. It's not like I want to invite the bride and groom down to the dance floor for the first dance.
Yeah.
It's, ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? In their lifetime together, Jack and Jill will share an infinite number of memories. Tonight, you and I have the pleasure and privilege of sharing the memory of their first dance as husband and wife.
Damn.
That's the skit.
Jay, let's just dance right now, bro. Let the grab you. Let's do a first dance.
That's the skit. So picture that, man. It's quiet. It's light piano playing in the background. And then you jump on the mic. Yeah. And the chills you get. And I was told that by a client. Like, yo, Jay, when you fucking said that, I got chills.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a seller.
Yeah.
So I saved it. I reinvented it. I made it more dramatic, more emotional.
Yeah.
Because at a wedding, all your senses are heightened. Right?
Yeah.
And you got to hone into it. And as an entertainer, that's our playground.
Yeah.
You got to hone into their emotions, you know, from the energy, their sadness, their happiness, their everything. You got to touch base into that because that's how you be.
Yeah. Memorable. I've always told my guys, like, every announcement has to be a moment. 100%. Like, it has to be a movie. And if your announcement sounds super generic, you're not going to command the room. Like, it just sounds like any other announcement.
Because
you know?
You've been there, you've done that.
Yeah. You know, it's just...
You have to be genuine. You have to be genuine.
You got to be, I mean, you got to be genuine, but also, like for example, if you're announcing the cake cutting, like, I feel like sometimes, like, it just comes off as like a very passive, okay, cool, cake cutting, whatever. But, like, if you get people excited about the cake cutting, that's like really commanding the room. That's really like getting people engaged into, you know, what's about to happen versus, you know, all right, let me just continue my conversation with the person next to me. It's like, oh, they're cutting the cake. Let me get my phone out. Let me take a picture for Instagram or whatever.
Skits. You gotta have different skits.
Yeah, you gotta have a skit. You gotta have a script. Like,
I got a skit for the cake cutting too.
A word. don't drop all the gems, bro.
I'm not gonna do it right now, bro.
Yeah, they're all gonna take it, bro.
And that's fine. That's okay. There's a lot of my colleagues, my MC friends, who have been using my skits, and that's fine. Yeah, just make it your own. You know,
twist it. Yeah,
it's all out there for the public. You know, you can't do what I do. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
but you can take my words.
Flex.
Like, there you go, right? You got to take my words and make it your own. Yeah. Once you make it your own, then you own it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to mimic, then you're going to mimic that person, and that person is always going to own that skit.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be DJ copy and paste or MC copy and paste.
There you go. There you go. You just got to own that shit, man. Yeah. It's all about it. Everything that you do, you have to own it. And good or bad, I mean, it has to be your baby at that point. Yeah. Because now you're being genuine about it.
Yeah. You know, and if it's bad, somebody will tell you it's bad. Tweak it a little bit, and I think emceeing is always like a work in progress. Like, you're never done. It's never perfected. It's like fashion. It's always evolving. You never know.
There's new phrases. There's new culture coming out. Yeah. You want to talk about the new culture. You want to talk about politics once in a while, right? Yeah.
Talk about politics. That's ballsy. I wouldn't do that. That's crazy.
I did it. I did it.
Was it like a Trump joke?
It wasn't a Trump joke. I said, "Where's all the Republicans at? Where's all the Democrats at?" I guess we all know who we're going to be voting for. And because I said the last piece, everyone started to laugh. And
really?
But it was ballsy. I mean, I didn't know if I wanted to do it. But there were a lot of political references in the room. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of elephants in the room, and also the vice versa in the room. So you could tell it was influenced by politics. So I had to I had to say something about it.
And that's one of those things that comes with experience, right? Like walking into the room and understanding like what kind of crowd you're working with.
100%.
Because then 'Cause I'm sure like you wouldn't do that for every crowd, right? Like it's got to be like the right crowd, and like the client, the couple, their families a little bit, and like all right, like this is gonna kill, like this is gonna work, So
100%,
yeah, for sure.
Well, bro, that's our time.
Oh my God, already?
Oh man, we passed the hour and 20 minutes.
We gotta do this again.
This was take 2, and it was fantastic.
Yes, take 2.
We're gonna have another recording whenever you're free. Feel free to come on down.
Always, man. Thank you for having me.
With me.
Yes.
We'll talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about,
bro. Anytime, man.
If you want to vent, this is the spot.
I mean, I could vent about so much, but next time we'll save that for the next one.
Save it for the next one.
Yes.
Do me a favor, look at the camera and go into all your tags.
At DJ Insomnia on Instagram, DJInsomnia.com. That's it. I'm just on Instagram, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, no. TikTok. I don't really post that much, but it's DJ Insomnia NYC.
Right now.
I know.
You gotta do
I'm one of those old farts, though, man. I gotta like step up my game on there. But Instagram, I'm very active on. So check me out on Instagram at DJ Insomnia.
That's what's up.
Yep.
Guys, that's our time. A big round of applause for DJ Insomnia.
Thank you.
Thank you to all you guys, all my viewers, all the comments below. Feel free to confirm, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. This space is for you guys. And as always, I'll see you on my dance floor.
Peace.